let's start off where we left off. Number 6, no business plan. I'm going to start off by saying it's okay that you don't have a business plan, but I would still like you to have some strategy. And I'll tell you, at the highest level, when you're talking to people that run these big companies, billion-dollar companies, million-dollar companies, they all started, what's up, Mark? They all started with almost no business plan, believe it or not, which is crazy, I know. But what happens is they tweak along the way, and then they make a plan. So the thing we've noticed is that you've got to get started first, have a good strategy as to what does this look like if I'm going to jump in? What am I going to focus on? And we've talked about this often, usually along your strengths, right? We talked about this last week. So if I'm looking at this with just a minimal business plan, guys, what does that look like in your head?
Mark, you want to jump on it first?
I just jumped in completely late and I have no idea what's going on. So go ahead, you jump in first.
No problem. We're talking about business plan for real estate agents. And I typically say that's something that people overthink because I've seen it.
Yes.
And so I don't want people to overthink it. I want them to start as soon as possible. Where would they start with the right strategy? That's all I'm saying.
Got you. Okay, I got you. Actually, I have a PDF I could send to you guys real quick. It's like an 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. workday. But here's the thing, though. Like my opinion on it. And since Jacob, you asked me to do it first, my opinion on this is I think business plans are amazing. I have an outline of one that kind of is just like a canvas. But one thing that I think is an oversight is that individuals take a business plan way too literally. And I mean that if they get a copy of one, they do it exactly as the business plan says. And I think that's a very big disservice because I think the biggest thing with the business plan is adjusting it to your lifestyle. For example, if I love to play pickleball every day, and it's a form of my exercise and it's a form of my prospecting as well, why would I eliminate that just because of a piece of paper that says I should join a book club, right? I think one thing with the business plan is that it's used as a canvas to allocate time for important things, business, and a lot of the people listening here, prospecting, meditation, prayers, going out and servicing your clients, for allocating time to send properties, to reach out to other agents, for networking, and then also training, right? Like today, you're all here today. This might be a good idea to add this to your business schedule. So I think that what I'm trying to say is I think that business planning and business scheduling is crucial, because how do you know what you're shooting for if you don't know your target? But it's also important to cater it to your lifestyle and scale it to your life and business, and your business plan and your goals.
I like it. All right. So I'd say, look, pick something that you're great at and go ahead and get started, and then you'll figure out the business plan along the way. There are some key elements to a business plan that you're going to need. That goes along the way. So I know people overthink this, but what's your mission? Take a look at what your mission is. What do you want your company to stand for in its current form? And then what's the vision? Where do you want to head to? What do you want to do here? Right? Like if I talk to Jacob wants to do a lot more luxury, right? Work with high net worth individuals, right? The vision is to give great customer service, to be the concierge, that type of thing. So what is your vision? And then the other thing that we don't do, which we should kind of do, is do a SWOT analysis. I know we brought this up a few times, but take a look at the market analysis. What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? What aren't we so great at, right? And take a look at your competition. How are they doing? Are they online? Are they on social? Are they mailing a lot? What aren't they doing? Because that's probably going to be the opportunity for you. Right? And then take a look at this whole process and say, okay, got it. Now I understand what my weaknesses are, what my strengths are, and I can have a better target now because I understand that. And then think about your services. What do you offer? What are you offering at the very beginning? Yeah, are you part of a team? Are you in a brokerage that offers a lot? Are you an individual agent? What is it that you offer, and outline it? Because I don't think we do that either. I think
Right.
then we start looking at some type of a decent business plan to be able to start somewhere. Because I agree with Mark. I think this, whatever you create, it leads you towards something. And oftentimes, because we don't have that something, we don't know where we're going. Right?
100%.
Jacob, anything you want to add to that, buddy?
I just think you guys kind of hit everything. I think there's a big miss with a lot of people in business plans where, like you said, there's the fear of starting it and the over analyzing, and like they just don't do it because they're too in their head about it. I often tell, especially like the new agents that we hire for the team and stuff like that, where I started was I went on like Instagram and I found 10 agents that I wanted to have their career. So if I could go back in time and be anybody else, I said, I want to be this person, this person, this person, and this person. And I analyzed their social media, and saw what they were doing. You know what I mean? What is something that that person is doing, and tried to figure out how I can provide value like they are, and made that the beginning stage of my business plan was figuring out what does Tristan do as a top producer in business and things like that that I can emulate in my business, as step one.
That's
And
a good one, man.
my one step, and then everything snowballed from there.
Jacob, I hadn't thought about that really early on, but it's kind of like what we touched on last week with the mentor.
Yeah.
Touched on the mentor a little bit. And I think that's part of this, where you're picking mentors that they don't know that they're your mentors, but you're watching what they're doing and you're studying their moves so that you can copy and then adjust to make it your own. I love that. That is really good. That should be part of everyone's business plan, all across any levels of your business. Because as you want to level up, you've got to use a model to be able to level up. What is that model? That's a good one. All right. Anything you want to add on business plan, or do I go to the next one? Okay, going to the next one. The guilt trip. All right, Mark, this is your sheet. I'm glad you showed up.
Yeah.
What the hell did you mean by the guilt trip?
Yeah. So I've seen this before. This isn't like for everyone, but I've seen this before, and it comes from a sense of unworthiness. You may take someone who, has never had money before, someone who has never been raised in a family with money before, and all of a sudden they're making $10, $20, $30, $40,000 a month in real estate. And what I've seen happen before is people get in their heads and they think, I'm not worthy of this. This is too much money. I shouldn't be making this. And I know for some of us in here, it sounds ludicrous. Like, what do you mean? But there are some people in here who do identify as this. And this is what I mean by the guilt trip, is that, I don't deserve this. I know I can't possibly make this much money. This isn't real. This is just a fluke. I can't be doing this again. I can't make this happen again. I can't keep up with myself. I can't compete with myself. And sure enough, you end up in a space where you doubt yourself and you become your own enemy. I think you're muted, Tristan, I think.
Jacob?
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to that?
No, I think you hit it. I mean, I will add towards the end, but I'm thinking Mark hit it kind of on the head there.
All right, here's what I'll add to that. The guilt trip. It's true partially, what Mark is saying, because some of us make a certain amount of money and the thing that gets in the way, it's like, that can't happen again. I got lucky. That's the language he's talking about. It's like, holy crap, I did that. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't, that's not possible. And not all of us growing up are exposed to people that make millions, in some case billions of dollars a year, or are worth millions, like maximum millions. And that sometimes is a challenge because we don't understand what that world looks like, and we're not privy to what that looks like. So sometimes it becomes a challenge. I've been able to look through different agents' lenses, and I can tell you early on, I struggled with that too. Like I thought at some point when I started, I was like, I just want to make 2004, guys, 2004. I just want to make 80,000 a year. I'm going to be happy with 80,000 a year. That's what I'm going to be happy with. And then when I hit 80,000 a month, I was like, what? Like 80,000 a month, right? And then 200,000 a month. And I'm like, what? And then at some point I start feeling, whoa, what am I doing to deserve this? Right. And then you start getting into your own head saying, this can't continue. Right. And so you start sabotaging yourself because you kind of feel guilty. And that is a reality as you start growing. So know that that's there, and know that you're going to have to continually push through that. And the one way you're going to be able to do that consistently, the push through part, is surrounding yourself with people that are doing better in the thing that you want to do better at. You want to get in better shape? Well, you know what? You got to hang around people that are in amazing shape and eat well. You want to be amazing at pickleball? Stop hanging around Mark and go hang around Jacob. I'm joking.
Wait, we won our tournament.
I know, I heard. I saw it on social media.
Yes.
I think, Tristan, on what you're saying, James, you kind of hit it on the head, for me at least, is it's not necessarily so much the money, it's the success. I find it like my limiting belief, I guess I could say, or like my downfall is, Mark and I are kind of the same age, we're a bit younger. And I find it uncomfortable when people come up to me and go, oh man, you must be killing it. You're making so much money. I see it on social media. You're selling these huge houses. And you go, yeah, like, thank you so much. I work extremely hard I try to justify it and be like, I work really hard, or like, hey, I network, really well. But I get uncomfortable even to this day where, like, Tristan and Mark know kind of my network and my sphere of people. And I was fortunate to be raised around a lot of people that are business people and high net worth individuals. And it's still, to me, uncomfortable to start to see my own successes, because I've always lived a broke mentality where, like, no matter what, I don't have enough. Like, we could sell a $20 million house and the next day I'll be in the office grinding just as hard because I'm like, hey, I could be broke tomorrow. You know what I mean? So I always find myself, that's my like guilty, I guess, conscious of, is it good enough? Did I do good enough? I can do better. Like, I can always do better. And I find when people congratulate my success is like what you're saying with money. Like, the money's there, but it's the success sometimes that makes me a little uneasy.
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense. I think success overall does that to you, because the other thing is, once you're there, you're always thinking, well, what's going to happen now that I got here? What's going to happen next year? Right.
Yeah. It also, it raises the bar, it raises the thresholds. It's like, like all of a sudden now, like you can't go below that. Otherwise you're regressing. Right. So it can be daunting if you let it.
Yeah.
I feel like, I know we talk about mentality a lot, like every week we get into these deep mental talks. But I feel like that's a big proponent of it, is everybody sees the, $100,000 paycheck, 200,000 a month, whatever it may be. If you're not in California where things are, a crazy price, even if it's, 50 grand a month, whatever your high number is, it's hard once you get it to mentally stay on track for it again, because you start, like, oh man, I'm chasing it now.
Yeah, very true. Very true on that one. What
Yeah.
I did while you guys were talking is I asked ChatGPT to create a one-page business plan that's fillable so that you guys can use it. And I'm going to dump it into the chat. right there. Let me know if you're open. If you can open it, guys, let me know if you can open that one.
Opening it right now. Yep.
Perfect.
Complete business plan for a real estate agent based on business. Yep.
Perfect. Just use that one. I looked through it and it does hit on the important pieces of it. So at least it'll get you going in one direction. That's a good direction. The only thing I think it was missing that was important was the mission and the vision, but you can do that separately. All right, let's go to number 8. The reaction-based realtor. Mark, you've got A, B, C, D, E, F. You've got A through F here. Yep. Where do we want to start?
I would say let's jump on A. Start with A. Go ahead. Shoot it.
All right. A is anything and everything is a distraction and throws the day off course.
Got you. So let me give you a prime example. I'm prospecting this morning and it's right in the middle of my prospecting time. And I get 2 emails, a phone call, and a text from a lender on the buyer side. It's our listing, talking about something about the deal that was really not that big of a deal at all. And instead of sacrificing my prospecting time, I put that on pause, what the lender needs, because it's not that big of a deal, and it can wait an extra hour, and I continue prospecting. The reaction-based realtor will sacrifice the prospecting and try and put out an imaginary fire that can wait, quite frankly, and really doesn't matter, and then now has lost out on an hour of prospecting that could have led to more business.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I like that.
Very common. I mean, it's very, very common.
It is. It's a very, real estate can be a high reactionary business, by the way. It's interesting. I find that throughout my whole career, this is a very emotional business because you're taken in by the emotions of the clients that you're dealing with or the emotions of the people that are involved in the transaction, especially if they create, guys, some sense of urgency, and then they give you that urgency, and all of a sudden it's on you, and you're like, that does ruin your challenges. So
yeah,
what is it?
I would say, while Tristan's reading that, I would say I'm definitely a reaction-based realtor. I won't even try to lie to you guys. I put my escrows above like everything, and it's challenging. Mark knows that. I talk to him all the time about it, and I will drop everything and answer a phone call. Like, I don't miss phone calls. And it's hard for me because now, like, being in the business a few years and getting through all this, I'm starting to learn to do it, but it is uncomfortable at first because in my head, I'm like, well, am I pushing off the best customer service I can give them? Like, are they going to feel like I'm not 100% vested in them? And I realized that people don't care. They have no idea.
And here's the thing too, like there's 2 points to that. And it's one is that I'm a big advocate of is take control of your schedule, take control of your life. Right.
Yep.
And the other thing is, if you tell people, hey, I'm in an appointment right now, I'll get right back to you. Like, I have clients right now who are reaching out to me during this webinar. And I texted them and I said, hey, I'm in an appointment. I'll get back to you at 1:30. And they said, no problem at all. No rush. For one, they understand, they work too. Mm-hmm. And number two, it actually makes them respect you more because they're like, oh, this person is allocating time for their appointment, their other clients, their whatever it is. It could be even about them and their listing. And you have no idea. They will respect you for it. And also too, like, it puts you in a place where you respect yourself even more as well. And it gives you a sense of just like clear focus and clear drive. It can be exhausting. It can be exhausting jumping from one fire to the next, to the next, to the next. And it leaves you with just feeling completely drained. I mean, I used to do this exact same thing until I said enough is enough. And it's paid dividends for me, at least.
Well, I think it creates a better you too, Mark. We talked a little bit about this in part one, and it's a challenge too, because as you level up each time you're leveling up, it feels like it requires a little bit more of you each time as you figure it out. And you're like, I figured it out. And then you level up and you're like, oh crap. And then you're like, okay, I figured it out. And then like, oh crap. Feels like you're falling behind every time you grow. But I think that the challenge is in your schedule, you've got to have time for yourself, time for recharging, time for re-energizing, time for you. And I don't see that. You know what I see at a high level sometimes? And this might go a different way, but screw it. I see time for going out drinking. I see time for doing shit that doesn't matter. I see time for doing things that don't involve you bettering yourself. And what the fuck does that do at the end of the day? Like, who is that ruining? That ruins you. Then if you ruin you, you ruin the people around you. And then they stop hanging around you. And then you have no business. The more you focus on yourself to better yourself daily, even if it's a little bit, the more consistent you'll be, because your mind's like, oh, I got it. I'm getting into this. Got it. I got it. And it's a challenge. Dude, some of us have an addiction to wasting time because we love doing things that waste time. Like, I would rather be addicted to things that make me better. Is that possible? Hell yes, it is. I've seen it. I would rather be addicted to spending time with my family, with myself, with things that are going to long-term give me the purpose that I'm looking for. And that's what we're missing, because in the calendar, I don't see on any of these calendars, I don't see time for self, thinking, growth, all of these things. I don't see that. And that's what you need. That's what you need. Right?
Can I ask a question based on that? Because
Yeah.
I'm just curious if I'm just a freak of nature in this one.
No.
So like I said, I often prioritize business over everything. And I'm getting better at it. How many of you guys, people listening, Tristan, Mark, have a hard time disconnecting from your phone? So like, I bring my phone in the shower with me, and Mark knows it. I answer the phone in the shower all the time because I'm honestly worried like my big whale will call while I'm in the shower, and I'll literally like have soap in my hair. I don't have hair anymore, but I'll have soap on my head, shut the shower off and answer the phone and act like I'm in my office and be like, oh, hey, like, how are you? And they're like, oh, did I interrupt anything? I'm like, no, not at all. No big deal. And I have like soap in my eyes and I'm dying. I've stopped doing that now, but I think it's a legitimate fear of,
Dude, I think that's true.
Yeah.
Dude, I would do the exact same thing when I started in real estate, because I was scared of, so once I made it, financially made it, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want to regress back to where I was because I came from nothing financially. And so I would sleep with my phone. I literally would sleep with my phone, and I would take it. It would be connected to me all the time. And it took me years to break from that. So it's not out of the ordinary, Jacob, not at all.
I can honestly say, and this was a very anxiety moment for me. And since we get vulnerable here, I'll let everybody know. I went on a run for the first time last night in like 10 years. And I actually left my phone in my car. I ran
by accident or on purpose?
No, on purpose.
Okay.
Because I had a rough day with clients, and I was just like, I need to disconnect for a second. I'm going to go on a run. I'm going to do something productive, and I'm going to drop my phone. And I left it in my car. I honestly can tell you, I was so anxious the whole time of like disconnecting from my phone.
That's good, buddy.
But it was the first time in years that I didn't have my phone on me for more than 5 minutes. and it was good. I'm going to make it a routine now.
Also, if your clients are calling you at 2 a.m, it's probably not good.
Yeah, true.
I do have that, so I'll answer those calls.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to, hold on. I'm just responding. Good.
Ryan. read that
Ryan.
one.
Which one's Ryan? Do you play pickleball with your phone or is that sacred ground? Oh, damn, that's a good Jacob.
Mic drop.
Ryan, I play pickleball with my phone because
Wait, you do? When? I've never seen it.
He doesn't use a pickleball racket. He uses his phone. He's like,
I use my phone. No, I keep my phone on me during pickleball because I meet clients at pickleball. And
That's
if you weren't here in the beginning, I just showed an off-market property to a lady I met Friday at pickleball and got her number during the game. And it is a $2.5 million house.
Don't you guys have an Apple Watch?
I don't wear.
Yeah, I know, dude. I was just about to say, and Ruth said it too. Like, I started wearing my Apple Watch again, and I'm like, oh no, it's like always going.
You guys can roast me for it, but I have to.
Okay, all right. let's talk about burnout. And I think I have to step over to another meeting, but I'm going to leave you guys in charge. But let's talk about burnout, and then you end it with BS, Mark. That's what you end it with.
Yep. All right.
I'm gonna make you a host.
Let's do it. See you, Tristan.
You guys.
Later, Tristan.
I made you co-host, and now I made you host. Bye, Laura.
Bye.
All right. So let's talk about burnout, and we'll get this going here. So burnout is, it's pretty. We all kind of know what this is. It's if you work so hard, and it's constantly working so hard to where it's the point where you get lost in it and you don't even really know what you're doing anymore. And you just get to the place where you just collapse. The best example of this is, if you're working out just too hard and not taking care of yourself, you quite literally will burn out and just collapse. But it's the same thing for your mind in the real estate business as well. Unless you're like a door knocker who goes like 20 miles in like an hour, then you'll physically burn out there too. But burnout is a very serious thing. And also too, burnout can actually take taxing tolls on your mind over a longer period of time. And it can also cause you to have just poor results, poor appointments. You really need to take care of yourself and have an appropriate amount of breaks in your day and at night and rest. So that way you're prepared and fully there for your clients at the highest level you can possibly be.
Yeah, I think Mark and I talk about it a lot with burnout. I know he does it and I do it as well, where like I'll take a day off. It's usually for me like a Monday, and just relax and unwind. And that's due to the fact that I know I generally can go about 2 weeks. And if I don't have a day to myself where a full day of just no clients, no nothing, I mentally will feel bogged down and slow, and my calls won't be as good. And I notice my productivity goes down. I'm not as happy with my business. So I think, I know a lot of people say burnout's inevitable. I think it's a lot of self-care.
Yeah. It's inevitable if you allow it, to be inevitable. You have to make sure that everyone knows their limits too. We all know our limits, and we all know, for me, I know when I'm approaching burnout, when I get irritable and agitated, whether that be with friends, family, or even clients. If I can sense, even if the thought of becoming irritable comes in, I'm like, okay, after this call, I need to pump the brakes and have a cup of tea or just chill for a second. Right. We're all susceptible to it, but you have to really put yourself in check. And that part of that is just knowing your own self and knowing when you're approaching that moment in your day or in your burnout stage, right? Your patience. Want to go over the last one, BS?
Sure.
Cool. So this one's great. This one's pretty simple too. So it's the BS, and that's just you saying that you're not good enough. you saying that you don't have the resources, you saying that you don't have you don't have the same time, you don't have the sphere that so-and-so does, you don't have the wealth of your neighborhood farm as so-and-so, it's all BS. It's and I've said it before and I'll say it again. It is not about your resources. It is about your resourcefulness. And I stand by it. And that's my mic drop on BS.
I agree. I think it's, sorry. I think it's really you against yourself for the BS. You know, everybody has that limiting belief, that limiting thought, but overcoming that and understanding that, like you said, it's how resourceful you can be, not who you know.
Yep, absolutely.
Was
That
a whale on the phone?
Oh, it's good.
Potentially. No, that was my mother. Is it
I love it.
Yep, exactly. Ruth, I agree. We definitely need to change the tape that plays in our heads. Perfect. I think that's kind of everything.
Thank you all so much. What's up, Jacob?
Yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I mean, and you know, all the comments, everything are great. If there's anything you guys want us to talk about more, drop it in the comments. Let us know. You're more than welcome to reach out to both of us and Tristan on social media, and let us know.
There's my Instagram handle at @themarkrader. Can't miss it. Can't misspell it. You got it. It's yours. Take it.
And here's mine.
And there's Jacob's.
There we go.
All right, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Later.